What's up, you guys? Welcome back. Today I'm super excited because we're gonna be doing a fun video. Y'all know if you watch me that I absolutely love the drugstore. I do a lot of drugstore related videos on like drugstore beauty, drugstore makeup, all that kind of stuff. But all the time I get questions about what my favorite high-end products are, because there are absolutely products that are at a high-end price point that are some of my absolute favorites that I use all the time, that I think are well worth the money. Not only am I gonna show you guys the products that I think are worth the money, but then also use them at once too. So you could see why I think they're worth them, why they're my favorites, and all that kind of stuff. And I have more than just makeup in this video. It's gonna be skincare too. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and click the little bell right next to the subscribe button so you're notified of all my future uploads. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, we're gonna jump in with skincare first. I have already cleansed my skin, but I wanna give a shout out to my cleanser. This is the Skin Fix BHA Acne Plus cleanser. I love this. You can find this at Sephora. Skin Fix has a lot of really nice skincare products. This cleanser specifically is one of my absolute favorites because so many, like literally 95% of acne cleansers are very drying and stripping to the skin. So for me, having acne prone yet also dry skin, it was very difficult to find a cleanser that could kind of work with my dry skin, but also is gonna help keep my acne at bay. And this one does it. It is so good. Has helped my acne tremendously, but does not dry out my skin. Cleans the skin really well, but isn't gonna leave your skin feeling super tight. So I love this. Another skincare product I wanna talk about is this eye cream. You can see she's well used. I need to get another one. This is the Caudalie Premier Crew, the eye cream. This is so cool because it has this little like metal applicator. So you squeeze some out, which I really have to squeeze it hard to get some out of here now because I've used almost all of it, but you can squeeze it out on your under eye like this. And then you can use the little metal applicator to work it in, and it just feels so nice because it's very cooling. And I also feel like it helps to depuff the under eyes, like the coolness from the tip, but this is also very hydrating. But I really, really like this eye cream. It is at a luxury price point, but I do think that it's worth it. But it's not like something you would have to buy new like once a month or something. This lasts me probably like 4 months, if not maybe even longer. So I love this. And another favorite that I have to mention, I guess this is not technically skincare, but it's like not a makeup product, is the Grande Lash. Not a video goes by where somebody doesn't ask me about my lashes. My lashes have grown so much, and it is literally because of Grande Lash. This stuff really does work. It has grown my lashes tremendously. I love this. I apply it at night just to my upper lash line and has made such a difference. This would definitely be a product that I would say would be worth the price. Okay, up next I want to talk to you guys about a little skincare device. Y'all know I love my skincare devices. I use a lot of different ones. This one is really cool because it's actually a at-home laser. So this is the Nira Pro laser. I've gotten laser treatments done to my skin in like a spa or med spa setting in the past, but obviously getting laser done at a med spa is expensive and just not realistic for all the time because you have to go in and do it and all that kind of stuff. So I really like that this is able to be done and used at home, and it's very fast, only takes about 3 minutes to use. It's basically a non-fractional laser, so it's the same thing that would be used at like dermatologists, med spa, stuff like that. And essentially how it works is it gently heats the dermis to stimulate natural collagen production without any pain or downtime. It takes about 3 minutes out of your day to do this. It's gonna help to rebuild collagen and renew the skin. It is safe for all skin types. And as you guys see, you can use it on your face, obviously. I like to use it sometimes around my eye area because that's where my skin texture is definitely the worst. But where I really like to use it is on my neck. Because I'm always looking down at my phone, I definitely have tech neck, which I'm like I know it is my fault, but it's because, you know, always looking down on the phone all day, devices, whatever it is, it creates these lines in our neck. So that's the area that I really like to target with the laser. It's super easy to use. You basically just click this little on button right here, and then you can pick the strength that you want. So I normally go like in the middle, hold against your skin, you'll feel the first beep, and then you wait for the second, and then you can move. And it's literally so easy, doesn't hurt, like nothing. And I've been using it for about a month and a half now and have already seen results. So I'm really excited as I continue to use it to see the results, because obviously they will get better with that daily consistent use. And they do have a 90-day money back guarantee, which is awesome as well. So I wanna thank Nira so much for partnering with me on this section of today's video, but they gave us a really great deal that I'm very excited about. So first thing, if you guys use code KellyStrack, that will give you 15% off of the Nira Pro device this week. After this week, it's gonna jump down to 10% off. off. And then for today only, so October 4th, Nira is gonna give away a free hyaluronic serum to everyone that purchases the device. And this discount can be stacked on top of my 15% off discount code. So you'll get 15% off on the device as well as a free hyaluronic serum from them, which I have right here. So definitely a great time to try the Nira 90-day challenge for yourself. I will link everything down below in the description box, so definitely just check down there if you wanna check it out, read more, and purchase. All right, now let's jump into the makeup section. I basically am just gonna go through each section of makeup. So we're starting with primer. For my primer, we have the Rare Beauty Illuminance Primer. Now, I will be honest, when it comes to primer, a lot of the ones I use are drugstore. I love a lot of the e.l.f. primers. This is one primer though from high-end that I do really like, but it is a category where I do feel like there are a lot of great options from the drugstore, but this gives such a pretty glow, but it also kind of smooths over the skin. It does both, where most other glowy primers I have don't necessarily make the skin look any smoother. This one kind of smooths it over and gives a glow, which I like. Now on the flip side of that, foundation is a category where I do feel like high-end shines. Certainly there are drugstore foundations that I love, but there are a lot of high-end foundations that I really love. I chose 4 of them, which might seem like a lot. This is the only category that has 4 products in it. I'm only gonna use one, I think, for the purposes of today's video. I'm gonna use the Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. One of my faves. This stuff is really beautiful because it gives a very good coverage for the skin, but still looks like skin. That's what I look for like in my foundations. I like them to give me a good coverage, but I still want them to look like skin, not like I'm wearing a mask necessarily. And this one definitely does that. It also lasts really well throughout the day, which is another thing that I'm obviously always looking for in my foundations. Like, not only is it gonna look good as I'm applying it initially, but I need it to wear well throughout the day. And this one definitely does that. I feel like Hourglass makes really great complexion products. They're some of my favorites and it's beautiful. This one doesn't necessarily have a matte finish or a glowy finish. It's kind of right in between, a more natural finish that just looks like natural skin, which is what I love. So definitely a favorite of mine and I think worth the price point. If you want something strictly with a matte finish, one that I really love that I feel like I don't hear a lot of people talk about, but I really like is the Tarte Face Tape Foundation. This one is full coverage, very matte, but it lasts really great throughout the day. Like if I know I have a really long day ahead of me, this is a really good one. Or if you live in a particularly very humid climate or somewhere where it's like really hot, you really need a foundation that's gonna stay, this one is really good. And even though it's matte, if you have dry skin, it's not gonna dry you out. So love that. Y'all know my OG Too Faced Born This Way. Still love this. It's beautiful, medium to full coverage, long lasting, looks like skin, really nice. Very similar, honestly, to the Hourglass one. I think the Hourglass is a little bit of a fuller coverage versus this one is a little bit more medium coverage on its own, but could be built up to full coverage depending on how you like. And I also wanted to give mention to the new House Labs foundation, or this has been out for honestly probably like a year or so now. It's a newer foundation to me. I do really like this and have been reaching for it a lot recently. And if you want something that's a little bit of a lighter coverage, the Bare Mineral, their like foundation serum is also beautiful. That one's a little bit lighter coverage, wears really well and is very skin-like on the skin. I really like that one too. On days when I just want a lighter coverage, I don't need anything crazy. Okay, for concealer, this was hard, but again, I didn't want to like grab so many for every single category. You guys will see. For complexion, I definitely have a lot heavier categories with like a lot of options. As we get in further, I will have like literally only one option that I think is like really great and worth your money. Because if I feel like you can get something similar at the drugstore, I'm not gonna recommend it. You know what I mean? Like these are standout products in my opinion. So I do have the Hourglass Vanish Concealer. So I'm gonna apply this to my under eyes. Also, honorable mention to Tarte Shape Tape. That one is more matte than this. This one is a little bit more of like a hydrating natural finish compared to pure matte like the Shape Tape. Shape Tape covers really well. So does this one though. This one is definitely full coverage too. Just a little bit more of like a hydrating finish. So really love this. Haven't been able to really find something that's exactly the same at the drugstore. Y'all know I'm always on the hunt for dupes. And with this one, I feel like I haven't been able to find a true dupe that's just as good. So I think it's worth the money. Okay, when it comes to a contour, I really love this Tarte Sculpt Tape Contour. I feel like when this first came out, everyone was comparing it like as a dupe to Charlotte Tilbury because it's similar to the Charlotte Tilbury contour one. It does have more shades, which I like. I believe there's 5 shades of this. I'm using shade Warm Bronze. Oh, this is like getting all over my fingers already. One thing about these applicators, I feel like they're always messy. Like no matter what I do, it's always messy, but you need the smallest amount of this product. It's very pigmented, but it blends really well. And why I love this is it's like a contour and a bronzer in one. Like it bronzes up the skin, but it also helps to sculpt and contour, and it looks very natural. And again, it's crazy pigmented. Like it will last you forever because you only need the smallest amount. Like I used 1 dot and it's almost even too much. And again, I do like the larger shade range, so there are a lot of options with this to get your perfect shade. Okay, now for blush, I love this Charlotte Tilbury one. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Pink Gasm. I feel like I've said this so many times before, but Charlotte Tilbury is like the most duped brand of all time, I feel like, because their stuff goes so viral, so then everyone tries to dupe it. And a lot of her products I feel like have been duped pretty well, to be honest. This one, I have not yet found one that is an exact dupe for this blush. It is so pretty. It just gives the prettiest like pinky, peachy glow to the cheeks, and I love it. It's always one that I reach for and one that I will continue to repurchase. Just a very flattering shade and gives the prettiest sheen to the cheeks, and I feel like can be used fall, spring, winter, summer, like no matter what the season, or if you're doing an easy everyday look or something more glam, can work for like any occasion. Okay, this next product I love and it deserves way more hype. I feel like I've never heard anybody talk about this, but this is the Laura Mercier Loose Setting Powder Tone Up version in the shade Rose. They have another rose that's, I think it's called like Cosmic Rose. That's a different powder. This one is their Tone Up powder in the shade Rose. I think it's only available online because I can never find it in store, but it is so fabulous. It sets the under eyes so well. It's like a very light pinky shade, so it's not gonna leave them like super pink or anything like that. It's gonna set them in place, not gonna dry you out, but it just smooths, blurs, and brightens so well. Like look at the difference side to side. I absolutely love it. Again, I do have drier under eyes, so I have to be careful with loose powders. Some of them just don't work because they're too drying. This one works great for me though. I love it and will absolutely continue to repurchase it. I just wish that they had it in store sometimes. Maybe it's just my stores, but I can never find it. I'm always like, where is it? I can always find the Cosmic Rose, but not this one. So I will link it down below for you guys, but I love this stuff. Okay, now when it comes to brows, honestly, brow pencils, just go to the drugstore. Like there's so many good drugstore brow pencils that I would definitely recommend getting a drugstore one. I feel like there's not a high-end one that has really blown me away to like, wow, this is so much better than all of the drugstore ones. Brow gel though, not necessarily the same case. I really love this Makeup by Mario one. The issue with brow gels is they can kind of make it or break it, because sometimes brow gels can change the color of your brows or make them like a really weird texture or just not dry naturally. A lot of like cheaper brow gels that I've tried give my brows like a grayish or white tone to them, which I hate. I really like brow gels that hold really well but aren't gonna change like the color or make them like a really crunchy texture, and that's why I really like the Makeup by Mario, because it doesn't do that. It's really, really good, so I love this one. And for brow pens, I love this Tarte DIY brow pen. This is like a really tiny little precise brow pen. So different than like your traditional brow pencil. When it comes to just a regular brow pencil, like I said, go to the drugstore. Brow like detailing pen though, really, really love this one. I just go in and draw little brow strokes and it is so, so good. This is another product that I feel like does not get enough hype. I rarely ever hear people talking about this, but I love it and it works really well. All right, now we are at eyeshadow. So this is another category. I struggled with like including one in this video, to be honest with you, because this is a category where I feel like personally for me, most of the eyeshadows that I use, I actually go for ColourPop, which people debate back and forth whether or not ColourPop is technically a drugstore brand. You can get it now at like Target, Ulta, and it's definitely at a more drugstore price point as comparison to like high-end eyeshadow palettes at a place like Sephora that are a lot more expensive. So I use a lot of ColourPop eyeshadow palettes and I would highly recommend them to you guys. But if I had to pick what my most used eyeshadow palette was, like on a daily basis, it would be the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes. I do really, really love this and I use it all the time. These are just, for me, perfect everyday shades. And I've definitely got my money's worth with this palette. It's really, really pretty. Is that to say that you can't find these shades in a similar cheaper palette? Like, yeah, you probably could, to be honest with you. I do think these work really well though. They are all mattes, but they're pigmented and blendable, very easy to use, and you can create a variety of different like neutral looks with this that range from like everyday to a really smoky glam dark look or something really light and neutral. So I do really like this and use it a lot, which is why I wanted to include it. But I do think that there are very great affordable options when it comes to eyeshadow. Comment down below what your most used eyeshadow palette is, whether it be high-end or drugstore. I would love to hear what your most used is. But I definitely like the versatility that this one can give me. I'm just doing an easy kind of everyday, like typical look that I do with this palette that kind of like sculpts the eye but isn't too much. When it comes to liners, honestly, my favorite are from the drugstore. So I didn't even pick a liner in this category like to share with you guys, because most of my favorites are all drugstore, whether they be ColourPop. I also really like L'Oreal liners. Like there's amazing liners that can be found at cheap prices at the drugstore. So I did not pick a liner. Mascara is another category where I heavily use drugstore. Most of my favorite mascaras are drugstore. There is one though that is high-end that I really, really like. There's a couple high-end ones that I do really like, but one that's a new one that I feel like does not get enough love is the Give Beauty Can't Stop Staring mascara. I love this, and I think it works really well. It's like a mascara and then there's a ball tip on the end. So I just go in like I would regularly apply mascara all on the lashes and like coat them good. And then you can go in with the ball tip and really get like the tips of your mascara so that makes them appear longer and like really dark. And I feel like this mascara does a really good job of like picking my lashes up, really lengthening them and separating them. It's not gonna give you like clumpy lashes because it definitely keeps that separation of your lashes, but really picks them up and curls them well and makes them look really long. So I really, really love this mascara. I feel like Give Beauty doesn't get enough love. There are definitely products from them, like some that I like more than others, but this one is by far my favorite. I think it's really, really good and is definitely one that I use a lot. Alrighty, now we're gonna move into the face. Again, I have some powder face products. So first for contour, I have this Soft Sculpt Bronzer from Makeup by Mario. I love this stuff. I use this for so many different purposes. It's just in the shade medium. It's matte, so I can use it to sculpt my face. It also is a little bit more warm tone, so it can be used to bronze up the skin too. So I kind of do like the bronzer where I do both. So I really, really love this. I also frequently use this as an eyeshadow, like on a daily basis. If I'm not using like actually, you know, an eyeshadow palette, I'll just grab some of this, pop it in my crease and keep it moving. Can be used to contour the nose or anything. I really, really like it. It's not super powdery, it's pigmented and blends easy. So definitely a favorite of mine. When it comes to powder blush, I didn't include one in this category either because there are so many great drugstore powder blushes that I love. Some of my favorites are from Milani. Their baked blushes are beautiful. I really love the ColourPop Papaya blush. You guys know I use that in like all of my videos. Such a pretty blush. So I kind of just left Charlotte Tilbury Pink as the only like high-end products in the blush category because this I do love and I feel like is not dupable from the drugstore. But for powder blushes, there's a lot of great options at the drugstore. I didn't include like a high-end powder blush. For a highlight though, I love this Rare Beauty one. This is so pretty. It's in the shade Mesmerize. Her highlights are absolutely stunning. This just gives the prettiest glow to the cheeks. Like, oh, so stunning. Definitely one of my most used highlights. Really, really beautiful. I also really love to use this in my inner corner and right beneath my brow bone. All right, moving along to lips. When it comes to lip liner and lipsticks, again, another category where I heavily use drugstore. There's so many great liners and lipsticks that are from the drugstore that I did not include one in this video, but there is a lip gloss that I have never been able to find a drugstore dupe or like component of, and that is my trusty Tarte H2O lip gloss. If you follow me, you know that I have loved this for so long. This is in the shade Sandy Toes. I'm gonna just clean off my lips before I go into that. This gives the prettiest juicy glow to the lips. It's very long lasting, but it's not sticky and looks good over literally any lip color. Like you could put this over a bright red lip, a really dark, deep, like brown or wine lip, a nude lip, like anything, and it just gives the prettiest glossy glow. This does come in a bunch of different colors as well. My personal favorite is Sandy Toes, but the formula has a lot of options. This is just my fave. And then last but certainly not least, when it comes to setting spray, I love and am loyal to the OG Urban Decay All Nighter. I love this stuff. Sets the makeup without like changing the way that it looks or anything, and is really gonna help increase the longevity of your makeup throughout the day. All right, you guys, so that is everything. I will have everything linked down below in the description box for you guys to check out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye.